In this video, I'm going to be walking you through all the steps needed to prep my Porsche 911 for a track day. And there are two pieces to this equation. One, it's all the maintenance that you have to do in preparation for a track day, and some of the tools and parts you need for the actual event. When it comes to maintenance, I always start off with a list just to keep myself organized, but essentially we're going to be flushing the brake fluid using this Castrol React SRF racing fluid. This is better than the RBF 600 that I've been using because this apparently can last you a whole year of track driving. I also had to get a new pressure bleeder because I didn't clean it appropriately. I read that you have to clean it in between sessions with this, or when you're not using it. So we're going to clean it after use to make sure I can use it again. We'll also be using this device to suck any remaining fluid out of the reservoir. I also have these bottles to drain the fluid into. Then obviously to jack up the Porsche, you need these special pucks. Normally I would also have a set of track brake pads sitting here ready to be swapped, but in this case I've been running my track brake pads since last year. I never swapped them back to stock. We also have track tires and wheels that I have here. These are the OEM wheels that came with the car, as well as the Mission Pilot Sport 4S tires. I'm also going to show you how to install a GPS which will link with my phone for more accurate reading at the track. I'm going to be showing you where I'm going to be mounting my GoPro. I'm also going to be mounting the grills to protect the front radiators. I'm also going to be installing these anti-buffeting devices, and that all should allow us to pass the track day inspection, which you have to do, with flying colors. And in terms of the tools and equipment that I bring to the track, I usually bring a chair so I can hang out. This time I'm not renting a garage. I'm gonna bring a jack, torque gun, all the tools and stuff I'm not gonna highlight here, but you get the idea. My helmet, gloves. I don't use anything too fancy. I use this Race Equip helmet with my decal on it. This neck protector, it kind of helps my head stay stabilized. Head scarf or head cover, you just put it on. Extra brake fluid, extra engine oil, windshield cleaner, as well as some rags, the stoppers. And last but not least, I don't want to use painter's tape to put the car number on the side of the car. I usually get these things. These are ready numbers. So yeah, everything I talk about here, I'm going to link in the description in case you're interested. But now let's get to it. We're going to start with something that requires clean hands, and it's these anti-buffeting spoilers. Essentially what happens is, especially when you're at the track, you are required to roll the windows down. When you're driving fast with both windows rolled down, you get this buffeting sensation, basically air coming in and out, almost blowing your eardrums. So replacing these triangles with these little guys helps tremendously. And it's so easy to replace. You do have to start from the inside. Do not be intimidated by it. It's super straightforward. Essentially, lift it up, which will reveal a little screw over here. The screw is a T20, so you go ahead and remove the screw, put it in a safe place. And then on this side, you just want to push that way to remove it from the clip that it's sitting on. So this is the one that we removed, and this is the one that we are installing. If you notice in the back, they are identical, except there is really no place for the screw because the kit comes with these adapters. Apparently, between a 911 and a Cayman, there are different mounting locations, so you have to get an adapter. In my case, this adapter will work. Essentially, you place it here, you tighten it with the supplied T15, and you should be good to go. Installing it is super simple. Again, start from this side and then slide it down like this at an angle. Make sure the hook hooks. And now back on this side, you insert the screw in the hole, and now push this triangle back in, and you're done. Anti-buffeting, done. Next are the grills, which protect your precious radiators. They're super easy to install, but before we do so, I have my little grabber tool. Check this out. Because there are some leaves in there that are stuck, and it's a good opportunity for me to get them out. And when you're satisfied with the level of cleanliness, it's time to install these. Essentially, they sit on these little legs here. So this leg rests on this plastic, and you simply push it here. Then you bend this a little bit like that. Yeah. Now keep in mind that the instructions do call for a little tiny screw to be inserted here into this plastic. I won't do it because these are super solid, and from far away they don't look too bad. And quite honestly, it's a small price to pay in order for you to protect those pretty expensive radiators. Grills, done. Up next is this GPS sensor. Now, I use this GPS sensor because it gives my app a more accurate positioning of the car. If you use just your phone, it's going to show your car being all over the place. What I do is, I usually get one of these double-sided tapes, and after you peel it, I like to place it here. And this means I can also manage my cable by routing it this way. I just run it here, and then this plug connects to my little device here. And after you neatly tuck all the cables away, you can cross off this item off the list. The last easy one is my camera setup. I realize I'm recording with my GoPro, so I can't really show you where I'm going to mount it, but usually I would mount it to the sunroof, but I have two options. I can mount it to the windshield using this suction cup, or I can mount it to the side windshield also using the suction cup. And that is now done. It's time to get down and dirty. I almost forgot that I bought these. These are the wheel hangers that I got from Keys. Check this out. Rounded tips, all kinds of little engineering marvels on it. These will at the very least prevent me from scratching my big brake kit. It slides on it. Oh! And now that the wheels are off, it's time to perform a visual inspection because, as I mentioned earlier, I do have a set of track pads. So, you can see there's a lot of meat on them, both on the surface, in the front, as well as in the back. The front pads, again, plenty of meat left, both on this and that side. Now, while we're here, one of the things I wanted to highlight are the TLG guards, because we're going to be at the track, we're going to be throwing a lot of debris. You don't want to damage this area. It's still going to get some blasting, but not as much when you have these. If you know by now, I've partnered with keys.com on distributing these. My invention, but I had to partner with someone that I trust, and Keys, Brian from keys.com. It has been absolutely amazing. If you want to get them, I'm going to link in the description of this video. Absolutely a must if you track the car, but also if you don't track the car. Look, barely noticeable, and they really protect the side of your precious investment. But just like that, track pads check is completed. Which brings me to the brake flush. I already did a video on how to flush your brakes on a Porsche. I'm going to link it above as well as below. But essentially, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to empty this reservoir using my little tool. I'm going to show you how to use it because I didn't have it in my previous video. And I'm going to start it from the wheel that's farther out. So that one first, that one second, this one third, and this one last. So first order of business, remove the cap, remove the strainer, and then pretend you're a doctor. Stick it inside. Let's move this. Stick it inside and siphon as much of this bad fluid as possible. Well, it's not really bad fluid, but it's old fluid. Now that that is done, let's put the cap on and pump it up to 15 psi. Let's start bleeding the brakes. Outside valve first, then the inner valve. This side is done. The other side is draining, but I can put these caps on. Now, for reference, just from one side, I know it's an overkill, I drained this much. I wanted to be 100% certain that I'm draining all the old fluid out. By the way, these things, they have this magnet on this thing. Amazing. Wheel number 3 is almost done. Again, doing the outside first, then the inside. We're also monitoring the pressure. Every so often I have to pump up. And we are done with the last side. The 2 bottles that I collected are here. So again, I always want to make sure I collect more than enough just to be sure that this is fine. check the level, and let's top it off to the max line. Clean it off, and we're done. But before we can cross off the fluid flush off the list, let's double check to see if you see any leaks around the valves. I went around, there's nothing. So, knowing that, the most labor-intensive piece is off the list. Hey, no cutting corners, remember? Denatured alcohol. We have to flush our equipment so it lasts us a long time. Let's flush this syringe. And again, what I like to do is, I like to use the old container as my recycling bottles, because all the fluids that we're extracting, or we have extracted today, look, are being recycled. Don't worry, this doesn't make a mess because this is alcohol. Oh, sorry, it's a family show. Well, it is time to finally install the wheels. Again, my keys, wheel hanger. I am not using spacers. Well, simple reason. Actually, two reasons. Tires sticking out less means less debris being kicked on the side of my car. Even though I do have my TLG guards, they still, you know, let some things through. So to avoid any damage, or to minimize damage, I do that. And second of all, I can use OEM lugs, which probably makes more sense than going with an aftermarket piece when you're going to the track. I love these moments. Let's lower the car. Let's not forget to torque the wheels. And we are done. I've got to say, cleaning up was probably the most time-consuming piece of this track prep. I hope this was somewhat helpful. By the way, before we get to conclusion, check this out. This is what the car looks like with the black wheels. It's funny, every time I put on silver wheels, I say to myself, wow, it looks so awesome with silver wheels. Every time I put on black wheels, I'm like, man, it looks awesome with the black wheels. So the consensus is that it looks great with silver or black wheels. Let's leave it at that. I'm gonna go for a test drive just to make sure the brakes are working fine. But I hope this was somewhat helpful for you to kind of realize what it takes to prep your Porsche 911, Cayman, or pretty much any track car, or any car for an HPDE event. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I will answer every single one of them. Everything that I used in this video, I'm going to link down in the description in case you're interested in getting it for your garage. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye. I almost forgot. So the only thing we have to do is go and get track inspection completed. You can get it at any local shops that you trust, and you're set.